like from my perspective, yeah, as you all know, that this has been our pilot, and we're trying to build the ship as we go, seeing how it was and whatever. I think we've probably done this campaign piece slightly slower than it should have been. I think it'd be nicer to have gotten through this a little bit earlier. So I think we've probably. It's been cool to do it as a big group. I think everyone hearing everyone, but I think practically it doesn't make sense because it's too long to go through it all. So we're going to finish it today. That's the goal. Finish all the discussions around campaign, and then next week, we have to get to the place of, which we will, of everyone's got the action plan done and set up, so that you can go away and start filming and making content. So we've got everyone who went through last week. We've still got all those ideas, and we had everyone who's got their like sort of pieces that we've still got, and we're still going to come back with all that plan next week. But this week, who we've got? We have Tonga, Rod, Kylie. That's it, because we've done everyone else. So we only got 3. So we should be able to do it, and then by next week it's all action plan, all like what we call channel. So all the logistics part of it as well. How much we're doing, when we're doing it, how we're going to do it. And then each person has like a, let's go away and do this thing over this week, come back with content ideally filmed or created, even if it's just like real rough, could be real janky, doesn't matter, just have something done, and then we'll just workshop that through for 4 weeks, so that some of you will be super confident and just start posting, like Carly will probably just crack stuff on, but the rest of us, like, you might want to just like bring it in, get feedback, go again, until you've got something that you're really happy with, and then you can go and launch. Alright, so I'll shut up and we'll jump in. Is anyone, Tom or Rod, Kylie, anyone want to put their hand up and go first? No? I just nominate someone?
Come on, Kylie.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Tom.
Is that Polynesian flavour one?
Yeah, last. I know, it's bloody brown shyness. Alright, Tom, you can go.
Bye. So I've got a couple of ideas.
Oh, well, Kylie jumped in. Fucking hell, Jesus. Now, ladies first, let's go Tom.
Yeah, let's go Tom, because she was reluctant.
She was first. Yeah, she was reluctant, so there we go. Okay, Tom, where are you at? What are you thinking? Have you got any ideas? Where are we sitting?
Idea of like taking the piss out of myself, out of my name, because all my life people have taken the piss out of my name.
Yeah.
So, but also I'm a bit of a black sheep, so I think having kind of like that cultural content on a design page, I haven't seen any of that around.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I don't know if that's a good idea, because like we ideally want to attract a high-end client. So I don't know if some of our Pacific humour or like taking the piss out of me connects or resonates with those types of people.
Yeah. I think the taking the piss bit came, but like New Zealand's pretty racist. We find that all the time with our clients, like
it's really racist.
It's
not
really
just pre-racist, it's properly racist.
On social media, especially. So we can. It's not mean you can't do it, and sometimes in fact it's the reason why you do it. But just be careful, because it is something that we want to do. If you're taking the piss out of yourself and using your culture to do it, you're inviting them or giving them permission, these trolls, to then do it to you as well. So there's just something to be mindful of. Because if you can handle it, it's all good. Like if you can do it, because it'll only be a small subsection of it, but just something to be mindful of.
Yeah, I think when we played around with that idea, it's stuff like up on Instagram, we'll be like, tell me your boss is Tongan, without telling me your boss is Tongan, and like I'm shouting people KFC or stuff like that. Like when we have staff lunches, like there's always a good feed. So it's kind of those. I don't know how racist I'd go, but it's just I guess kind of giving us a bit of character and a bit of personality.
Yeah, I like it. I love it. Yeah, I'm all for it. Like I think those pulling into those niches are great because they're very relatable. My concern's not like a thing you have to make and break the idea. It's just to be mindful of that these things can happen. Yeah, it's not at all a bad thing. Then when you line it up to the audience, like who are these high rollers with the money to pay for you, what do they look like? Because they're probably not, like, who are these people? What do they look like?
I think in the past we've had quite a few male clients who are like middle-aged, loaded, they don't have a partner or a wife or kids or even a cat, and like they just need someone to come and figure out their house, like their new build or whatever their renovation for them. So we've had a feeding round of those types of clients.
Okay.
A lot of the people with the money that are quirky, they have some interesting family structures, per se. So they're not your typical mum and dad and kids, kind of family.
Yeah.
We kind of have that extreme client, and then the other extreme is like the community clients that we do our commercial work for, and they're not loaded, they're relying on a funder to fund their business or fund the services that they offer.
Yeah. Okay. So then in that case, that sort of crowd, the community crowd's probably this sort of piss-taking, funny, humorous, cultural lens probably would work really well, because they're probably just everyday people who are, and when you get everyday people that sort of, on average, all watch entertaining stuff. The other guys that you're talking to, if you think about like old white rich men, because it's usually the colour of their skin too, where are they? Like they're watching my costume. They're watching like...
They're on Facebook.
They're on Facebook. They are, it's either news related, car related, what else?
Rugby.
Or YouTube.
YouTube.
I think they do YouTube.
The way that we get those clients is they usually come through a referral from, say, a business mate that I have who is brown.
Yeah.
That's how they come. And it's kind of like the guys in that sort of step club, they will refer the rich guys to us.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it's worked in the past.
Yeah. Which then maybe we don't have to worry about talking to the end user then, right? Because then you're just talking to all the business associates, and then they're like, oh yeah, that's why I should refer them to Tonga.
Yeah, I think I've always wondered how we can talk about meaningful spaces, because that people will spend money on meaningful spaces. I don't know how quite to go about doing that.
Can you explain that a little bit more for me? What you think are meaningful spaces?
Like we design spaces for people to come and have counselling sessions in. With it, some of it's for mental health, some of it is for addiction. And so those spaces really have to set the tone for someone to be able to sit and get better. So to me, that's a meaningful space.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Makes sense.
Sometimes, in a residential setting, it could be like parents finally getting their own ensuite, and kind of creating that sort of a haven for them in a home where it's busy and it's, there's lots going on. And so those spaces become meaningful for them because it becomes like a recharge, this is my space, kind of thing.
It's like the Zillow guy.
Which one?
The Zillow guy with the craziest houses.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Like we did it. Sorry.
No, you carry on.
We talked about it on He got picked up by HGTV, but it started off just as short form video about like, oh, these are the craziest houses on Zillow. It's like these are like the designs, and these are the deeper meaning behind all of them. Like how she was talking about like the green tile and everything, blah blah blah. So like shot of a really cool bathroom, and then close ups into like why she's done everything. It's just like homes.co.
There's that person in New York, and he just goes around and goes, oh, do you rent or buy or something? And then they go and see the different lofts and apartments or something like that.
Yeah.
That'll be cool to go around to see different, like some of the culturally designed places. Like you've just randomly seen this dude, and then next minute you're going through and having a tour of all these different spaces.
It's kind of like a revamp of the MTV Cribs, Tom.
Yeah.
But because you've obviously got like unprecedented access to some of these insane houses, like as the not loaded middle-aged white dude, you know, like I get to live vicariously through the fact that you've designed like a 12 garage carport for this insanely wealthy dude because he's got like 4 boats, 12 sports cars, and that like fulfills his need. Like that's fascinating for me because, you know, unless I win the lottery, like that's not going to happen for me. But then also like going into a kitchen and like understanding why you chose a specific tile based on it being like south facing or north facing. You know, like those kind of things, like really practical things. Where if you're watching that, you're like, oh wow, I actually learned something today. But then you also still get that like kind of vicarious, like, man, geez, that is an unbelievable house that I just got, you know, exclusive access to, where I could just see how the other half live. Yeah.
Yeah, we've thought about doing kind of walkthroughs on our building sites when we're in construction and talk through some of the reasons why things have happened to look like this, rather than just relying on like pretty pictures or aesthetically nice things to look at, and kind of talking about some of the intricate details. But I don't know how to do that in short form and do it well and do it quickly.
Yeah.
What about
What about image carousels? Like, maybe it's easier, practically speaking, to get started by just taking photos as you go, which I imagine you probably do anyway. And I mean, maybe some others would know how well they perform, but I think if you get the right sort of track underneath it or whatever, I think it can be quite good. I certainly find that, you know, like it's a question or something at the start, and then you kind of swipe through. It seems like it would be, like, even, I don't know, watch somebody just travel into work, and it's like, seemingly really boring, but it's like actually quite interesting just watching like an image carousel like that. So yeah, I think it might be one way to do it.
You could do something like kind of how we were talking about Roman. You could just go in your everyday life and see everything as a design space, and then like go to the local public toilets or something and like describe the design space or something and give your critiques on it all.
Yeah. When I watch like the design guys or the architect or design people that I watch, they have the tips that they share are always, or like the help that they give is always like really quite absurd, like, or it's either absurd or it's like, fuck, that's so interesting. Like, wow, I didn't, like, because it connected it to pop culture somehow. Like, there'd be something in real life that we just took for granted, but then we didn't realize this thing. I can't come up with an example in my head, but this thing that we all see every day is actually from this other thing that we all know, and we've never made the connection before. But like, you know what I mean? Like, it's been where it gets inspired from. And then you go, fuck, I know that thing. Of course, I already know this because I see it all the time. Shit, I didn't realize that that's where people get that idea from now. Like, there could be like a really cool trend that is now that everyone's seeing. And then you're sort of going, it's actually not that new. Like, we've been doing it since 1940 or something. Like, here it is in these houses. It's just been evolved and used in this purpose, and that's where it came from. Like, that sort of stuff, you're like, oh, fuck, that's pretty cool. Because, like, designs, everything's a remix, right? Like, so all ideas come from somewhere. Like, even if they are, you know, sort of brand new ideas, they come from some inspiration. So I like those ones, all the absurdity stuff of like, yeah, they've just done crazy design stuff. Like, there's those shitty ones that the guys do where they like show you this tiny little room and how it can't fit anything in, and it's a visual render, and then they start fitting all the stuff in, but you don't realize that they've actually just expanded the room bigger and like made it bigger and then put all this crap in there. Anyway, they're absurd because like what they end up doing with these designs and going from a single bed to like a bedroom that can have 4 double beds stacked on top of each other. I don't know how to explain those ones, but they're pretty crazy. And then the other one, oh, you go. Yeah.
Because like when we're designing for a client, there's always some moment, and that moment is where I get the inspiration from. And usually, I found the most successful moments of inspiration have been like when I can see that we're really quirk in a client, and they'll say something, and then if I ask them a question, they might say something else, but I know that that's a little soft point for them. And then we go and design something around that little soft point and pitch it, and then they freak out because they're like, how did you know? Or how did
That's
you
amazing.
pull that? And so that's
cool.
usually how I kind of design, I would design spaces for people.
Have you got an
So we
example?
could share. Yeah, we've got heaps of stories of those because that's how I design for people.
Can you share one with us? Just so we can get a feel for what it is.
We've got a bathroom. It's the most expensive one bathroom that we've done so far. The client is husband and wife. Husband is Kiwi, wife is Chinese Asian of some sort. They wanted a new bathroom, went in, had a look, and the wife said that they don't like green, they don't like brown, and then she proceeded to talk about our Māori journey, so she's learning how to speak Māori, and then she tells me that she likes greenstone, and she loves pounamu, all the stuff. Pounamu's green, and she just told me she doesn't like green. And then we were talking about like some of the Asian architecture, and she mentioned that she liked Japanese architecture. So we took Japanese architecture, pounamu, harakiki, because harakiki is green and it turns brown when it dries, and that was inspiration. So we put the things that she didn't like together, and some of the things that she did like, pitched it, and it was 100% yes. So we started with a bathroom that they wanted to spend about $50,000 on. This bathroom was going to cost them 100K, but they're like, let's do it. So that's the kind of, that's the honey, that's the gold that we have to search for when we're working with people.
Why do
And
you
it's not
think she said
necessarily to
yes?
pick up the money.
Why do
It's
you
not
think?
necessarily to do expensive stuff, but it's just to land the right solution for what they need, what they want.
Why do you think she said yes to that? Like, what's the piece here, the catch in the video here that people will be like, because like, so far the video is like, I didn't want this, I showed them the thing they didn't want, and then they said yes. But like, what's the reason? Like, what's the thing that when the person's watching, they're like, fuck, that was clever, I get it.
I think it's always the storytelling, because I have to tell the story to sell the concept. So I talk about inspiration, about like Japanese architecture, and I talk about pounamu, and I talk about harakiki and how there's, these precious taonga that are really precious to Māori. So, and we weave those ideas, and then we created a concept. I should show you the renders of the bathroom, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, go for a few.
So it is like the storytelling that sells the concept, and sometimes the storytelling is around an experience we want that client to have when they sit in this room and get counselling, or when they come into this room to get some help from a healthcare provider. So it's like a real emotional, like it's that emotional feeling that we're tapping into to sell the concept. If that makes sense. So it's really, I think that's where the word meaningful spaces comes from.
Yeah.
Because,
The hardest thing with storytelling like that is that you've got to have it planned. Like, right now, if you go and tell it, you're just retelling a story, and you're it's like when you watch a movie that's full of exposition and it's just some guy telling you everything that's happening. It's like it gets quite boring. You really got to like show. You got to show those moments, and it's not that the story's not good. It's just like it makes it way harder to present it. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it. I'm just trying to figure out like if anyone can think like how do you showcase that story, especially after the fact, because. How many projects do you do a month?
somewhere between like 5 and 12. But they're like ongoing jobs, you know.
So they're not.
You don't start a new job every month.
Yeah, how many do you start a month?
Maybe about 3 or 4.
Yeah, so then you've got like 3 or 4 bits of content, you know, like it makes it quite a month, which is like 1 a week, which isn't, I mean, people can build strategies off of 1 piece of content a week, but it's like not an easy thing to do. And so it's just like, it becomes like a really hard concept. I think it's like what we're talking about with Jennifer, like where you can do these cool things, do them anyway, like have them as content styles, but like to build a channel off of it like becomes really difficult for you, because one, you have to be able to like have the foresight to know to capture everything you got to capture through these moments. Just as the clients like telling you all the stuff, you're like fucking camera out and like trying to
I know.
You know, it's like that hard moment. 2, does the client let you use that? Because, you know, like this is their bathroom. Just because you've got access to it, they might be like, I don't want my fucking bathroom going viral on your TikTok, you know, because that's still another thing.
We had, like last week, we had our first client cry at a pitch, at a concept presentation. Wow. And that's because we tapped into some really emotional values in their business that they were really struggling to filter through the culture of the business. And so we got really strategic about the spaces and how we were going to mimic the spaces to look and feel like they're some of their values. So that's the first time we've ever had a client cry in a presentation that we've put. But like those moments are pretty like cool and amazing. But like I don't know if how do you share that value that you can hit the nail on the head so good?
Is it, and that's not the right idea, but is there something in the opposite of it? The opposite of it. Like the opposite of that is just that everyone has the same fucking shit that's meaningless.
Yeah.
But there's something in that, rather than trying to find the rare story that is, you know, is there something in the
showcasing other people's work?
But doing it like that, there is nothing in this, there's no meaning in this, like, I don't know, I don't think that's the right idea, but that's just a way to get us to think differently. Like, what's the opposite of the thing you do, which is just like saccharine, fucking boring, off the shelf, same paint, same fucking...
Yeah, like copy and paste, like copying stuff off and see because it's cool, you know, like trendy stuff that we just copy and paste, like, I can't think of anything worse like that.
Yeah, I'm still struggling to like see how you pull these ones together, the style.
Yeah, I know.
Like as in a visual element too, like it's... Like, how confident do you feel in creating videos around storytelling and stuff, Donna, you and your team?
Oh, I love it. I can tell you so many cool stories. Yeah. I don't know how to structure it because I go on and on. I guess I don't know how to present it well.
Yeah, it's hard.
Can you wind it into your like offering in some sort of way? So like, you know, you hire a videographer to sort of like take care of certain aspects of the project. So you do like they're going to do a walkthrough, and this is like a part of the service that you get them to buy into. Oh, you know, for $5,000 extra, we can do this, and then that sort of takes your hands off that part of it. They can capture some of the interactions. And as part of the service that the videographer's providing, you're able to create some of the storytelling that you can refine just to kind of get it out. Like, I mean, I think, you know, when you said, was it $100,000 bathroom?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So putting a $6,000 fee for a videographer it's not too much for like a couple of half days or something. There was something else in there.
Another way to charge for that room is like, or for time actually, it's good, like possible is getting the suppliers to pay, because they've got a commercial benefit from it. You know, because it's their materials, their stuff that they're using or whatever. So there's, you know what I mean? Because like the only other benefit to the person who's getting it done is like, oh cool, I got a nice memento. do it, you know, and your chances of getting it. But whereas the other people, it could be like a sponsored partnership thing that you're promoting both you and the products or the design, the materials or the contractors.
Could you break down?
If we did like a shoot, we would split the bill. If we were doing wanted to do a shoot on a project, a finished project to go on a magazine, all the suppliers would split the bill. But I get the value of that, but you're just capturing a small piece at the end, and you haven't captured all the beautiful work that's happened throughout it.
Could you do a thing where you just break down, because lots of people post videos of in the bathroom, right? Just whatever the videos, it doesn't matter. But could you just break down everyone else's videos of their bathrooms or their spaces? Anyone. So famous people post from a bathroom, some fucking idiot's doing a mirror video. Do you know whatever content's on TikTok on short form that's going off, or has a number of followers? Could you just not do breakdowns on this haven't got any personality, this bath's in the wrong position? Could you do that? And then it wouldn't be any work from you, and the videos already have following and have an audience.
That dear modern guy.
Yeah, you just break down their design, even though the video's not about design at all, it's about some fucking stupid shit.
Have you seen Dear Modern, Thomas?
No.
I think it's a Chinese fellow who does feng shui. He will take someone's video, just exactly what Nate's saying. They'll be in some video, and then he'll take it, and then he'll make a scale model of it out of these little things, and he does a top-down view of it. And he's like, this is how they've got it positioned, this is really bad, the energy flow, blah, 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 with feng shui principles and whatever. And then he redesigns it using these little models. And he goes off. I mean, he's millions of subscribers on YouTube. And he's an architect. He just uses feng shui principles as part of his architectural science. I'll send you the thing, but it's exactly what I'm saying. It just breaks down other people's places. I mean, to the point now where people are like, "Hey, I need to redesign my flat. Here's my flat. Can you do it?" And then he'll start, and then and then he starts.
It's the same as what's her name, Emily Rayner. She's got the glasses. She does all the really quirky interior design stuff, and then eventually, she's got a whole sponsorship to just redo someone's whole house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's another guy on YouTube from UK that I watch. He does it on YouTube long form. The Dear Modern guy does short form video. I can share you the link.
Yeah.
But there's another guy, British guy, does it on long form, and he does it for free as well because he gets so many views on his YouTube that YouTube essentially pays for his time to do the design. So he actually gets to design all these amazing spaces for people who couldn't afford his work. But he's understanding of their budget too, so you're going to have to DIY this, so he designs it in a way that they can actually go and do it themselves.
Is there a way to be the opposite of that feng shui architect?
You can just do it your way. You can do it in your way and talk about the meaningful of it, or you know what I mean. You can just do it in the way that you look at shit. You just do that job, but you do it in the way that you do it. Because it's the same outcome. Someone's getting it's interesting to watch you pull apart someone's space, and then through doing that, they know that you care about meaningful spaces, and that that it's not you care about individuals and you care about all the values that you hold.
We thrash someone's thumb spray being belief. Is that fair? Because I personally don't believe that having a bowl of lemons is going to change your destiny.
Nah, his
feng shui stuff.
His feng shui stuff is more about placement of furniture, it's more about flow. This is you just put stuff in the wrong place. So a lot of his designs less about the actual elements of fruit bowls and whatever. It's more about when you walk straight into this room, this room is so badly set up that you can't actually practically use it, And so if you just set this and design this room better, you can just use it better. Is what it is. Rather than this thing does this energy thing. It's more about the flow of walking. So you could go in and bash people for doing their design principles that are full of shit. That's fine. Like, you could do that. It's kind of getting into where we were with Roman last week of like, you're just bashing up, you're just tearing down all the other buildings if you do that, which is, I mean, you can do it, it works, it's just, you better be fun.
I mean, what about if there's a way to kind of have it sort of both ways? I was imagining, as you were sort of talking about the kind of the lemons, I was imagining, because you mentioned KFC before, I was imagining, like, put this KFC here and it will help you to attract a lot of
that's what I'm thinking, bro.
Positive energy.
Tom and flags everywhere. That's fucking brilliant. If you put the KFC on the counter, it'll increase the flow through the kitchen to the outdoor area.
Tom and flag in the window.
Tom and flags, yeah, man.
Yeah,
Bro.
That would be funny. I do think we should go back to the humorous one. I think it's easier in this instance to make, because like this other stuff is cool, but like it's really hard to do something, like real hard to do cool storytelling stuff, like, and unless you can tell me that no we can do it, we've got the people who can do it, then fine, I'm all for it. Like, it's, if you can get it going, it's way better. But it's sort of one of those ones where let's try it over time and learn the skill set and build on it. Like, it can take 6 months to figure out how to do these the right way. Mm-hmm. There's heaps of stuff that we want to do as a team and we don't even know how to do it right. There's like much harder storytelling method. It's in a short form video. Whereas like, yeah, Roman's stupid design ideas, like, if a Tongan designed this space, like, well, I mean, you don't want to take cheap shots at your culture, but like, just funny things. You every
kid. Like, people brush me with this assumption that I'm an interior designer and I'm Tongan and I'm going to come and put hibiscus flowers everywhere and like cup cloth, like, it's such shit. It's like, I laugh at it because I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But seriously, I've come across people who have like mentioned it, and I'm like, it's too much thinking, and then they get surprised that we design some cool shit.
Yeah. I like it. I reckon that would be so funny if it was like a piss take version of you like showing the space and then you design it into it.
I think it's funny if it's like, what I would change to this space, but it's a space you fully designed, but you're making it like you're taking the piss out of your own design.
Yeah.
And then people will comment being like, oh my gosh, why would you do that to that beautiful house, blah, blah, blah. It's like, like, I made it that beautiful house, but okay.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, take a finished product.
Yeah, I think never underestimate people's, like, desire to, like, tell you that what you're doing is wrong. And, yeah, I think if you go in and make your own work worse, just it is kind of...
That is actually funny.
The other thing that's really good is that actually, if you think about your audience, they don't have this meaningful thing. Like, they literally... If you're a middle-aged white man with loads of money and you care about rugby, fishing and all of that shit, there's very little meaning in your life. But not internally, obviously, but externally, there's very little. So you just want something that's fucking funny or fits in with your boy culture or you can share with your mates. Right? That's the badge you want. It's about like social status, and that's about if you've got something funny then that works really well. Like this funny person's the person I'm working with is better than this meaningful, like, because all your friends are going to go, what, they're meaningful, whatever.
It kind of sounds like sugar daddies.
Hip hop, they own Cyber Summit, so they're two, I think, Samoan girls who own a tech company, and their stuff on TikTok is hilarious.
What are they called?
Cyber Summit. So they've won awards. It's just such a like, you wouldn't associate a couple of island young female Samoan girls who are successful in this tech company that they, founded together and run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like that idea. I like this idea of like taking actual stuff, green screen videos, that kind of thing.
Yeah. People are also like really nosy. So have you seen the videos of like the people's nails I did and then their professions? So it's like a nail tech, and she will show obviously a clip of the nails and then be like, this is their profession, like what they do and all. I think it'd be funny because she was saying that demographics, like, this is like a look into a sugar daddy's home that I had designed, and you just take the buzzword like bits of the person rather than just like, oh, this is an architect's home that I designed, or this is a nurse. Like, you take all the buzzwordy bits, anything that was like quirky about them. Or you can joke, you can say that they're someone else's home just to get the click.
Okay. How do you feel about doing that more humorous style, Tom? Because we spoke for 25 minutes about the opposite, so how do you feel about doing that? I mean, it was your initial idea. Are you comfortable with that? If we develop something out and find some visual styles and ideas of how to structure that?
One of my designers, she's New Wayne,
Oh, yeah.
but then she's Pakeha. But again, her and I have some of these like really funny common stories about being an islander and being a female, being a designer. Like, there isn't many of us around, so her and I are kind of rare. So her and I can have a piss out of each other. I don't know, yeah.
Is she half Niue, half European?
Yeah.
Is she super attractive?
For fuck's sake, this is a dating role. You're in the wrong room. The dating room's next door.
No, that's my mix, bro.
He's trying to satiate himself with all the good looking people.
But you got like so many different people on your team. You don't have to, like, the island angles. That's hilarious. The Tongan angle, the Tongan flags. That'd be hilarious. But surely you got like other people. You got some Maori people on your team, some other European or some foreigners on your team, and you could, I don't know. That's an idea to incorporate different piss takes with different cultures. Not in a
I think also being female in our industry, like, we project manage some of our projects, so we're on the builder site running it, and we invite contractors to tender on our projects, and they turn up really shocked that it's a female that they have to answer to, and it's a female who's going to award them a contract potential. Yeah. So that dynamic is always interesting, and like a bunch of men taking instructions from a female. That's really interesting, and we're pretty casual. We jeans and t-shirts. We're walking up the site in jeans and t-shirt, and again, it's that people assume that interior designers are flashy, and I don't know. Well, yeah, we're just not that. So potentially there's a bit of, I don't know.
Could be a funny, funny construction sort of podcast, but with females. Island females. Taking the piss. It's kind of a hard thing to set up and do there.
It would be cool to do like a construction guild gang.
Yeah.
You know, like there's heaps of, I see a lot of construction podcasts, you know, project management and like builders doing podcasts and stuff on social media. It would be cool just to do like a female only one, just to like exclude men. Like really feel excluded.
100%. Like doing a podcast like that would go off. Do you have the capabilities of pulling off a podcast?
Like resources to do it.
Space and
the capability to edit anything or to check that the sound is good.
Yeah. I mean, look, getting a podcast set up and done is the setup part isn't too bad. It's more about like the continuous upkeep of it. But if you've got the two hosts already and you don't always need guests, then it makes it somewhat easier because that's most of the administration is getting people on it. But if you could have two people who came up with, who would have the conversations on their own, and then every once in a while when you wanted a guest you would, it makes it a lot easier. But the setup of it, like the cameras and audio and stuff, that there's a cost to that, but as long as you're okay with getting that cost set up, well, for what that is, you can have someone come in and set it up for you. It's only a one-off cost, you never have to pay again. And like editing, you can get some dude on Fiverr or AI these days. AI can edit podcasts pretty much on its own. I think what we do is it's kind of like with Jennifer's thing, is that you have your main one, which I think is let us develop out this idea around this humorous conversation around stuff, and we'll come back next week with some ideas. And then the podcast, I think, is maybe a longer term project. We can still talk about it over the next sort of 5-6 weeks to flesh it out. And then the long term project is like, how do we tell these really cool stories? Because these stories still need to be told. And that might even be, say, maybe a more LinkedIn approach. Then maybe on this humorous channel might not work so well, but you know, on your LinkedIn where these people are, it could work quite well there. But I'm not sure of the exact answer, but I think I really like this humorous idea, especially this one of taking your design of what you've done as pictures and then be like, I'm going to change this and make it, and everyone shit on it, and then over time they start to realize, oh fuck, these are all her designs, they're on her website. Yeah. It's a real good sell because like people, you'll get the viewership because you'll do stuff to these beautiful designs that people are like, why would you ruin this like that? But then what the people who actually know are going to go, fuck, she's so clever. She's so clever that she's just tricked us all into thinking she's made it worse, but actually she made the original. Well, when you get to that level, people, it's like us with our TikToks. Like people think we're just fucking idiots, and then they realize shit what we're doing about it. The marketers know what we're doing. And then they all reach out and be like, we want the same thing. Yeah.
Later.
Yeah.
Just on the podcast thing, I just wondered if it could work if it's more casual than a like studio podcast, just like on-site woman in construction, quick, like what do you do, pitch up to intro, and then you don't need much setup. So.
It's almost, it's funny because it's almost harder because it's the sound and audio recording, like when you're on site, because of all the other noise things, whereas at least in a studio you can just, you almost, in a studio, or like in a setting in an office, you can almost just do it off your phone mics if you had to.
You kind of want to do it in the little portable office thing on site.
Yeah, a little portacom.
Yeah, you want to do it in like the main station where they will, like the tradie place would be a really good place to do a podcast.
Yeah. I wonder if we could do like kind of off the cuff, like if there's a female on a building site or female working on a project, just really like shoving the men aside and be like, piss off, and find the woman who are working on this job and like just say hi or just, what do you do? And it's kind of like, because in the real world, women get excluded, like there's always a reaction to you being in a construction meeting or building site. So it's like us women turning it around and almost like taking the piss and making it funny, and excluding the men, and just be like, there's a girl on site, and running towards that girl and be like, what are you doing here? What do you do? And just making it light and fun and not so.
Or you could do it like
a sarcastic kind of humour.
Yeah, if you took that approach, but do like what a men on a work site do when they see a woman, but it's the opposite, and then it's like having girls like almost catcalling the men, or like giving them shit, but doing it so overtly that you're taking the piss, that it's not you actually doing it, it's that people realise that, oh, that's a bit wrong. But you have to see it from the woman's perspective. So you girls go on site, interview a girl, be like, who's the hottest guy on here? What's what's this? Who's got the best thighs? Kind of thing. Or like, I don't know. I don't work on a construction site. Obviously, I don't know what the conversation is.
In real life, you have a company, like you have an electrical company. There is a woman in the office who coordinates the schedule of all of those guys, and without her, and it's always a her. Those boys have no idea what they're up to that day. They literally get sent, this is where you go, this is your next job, this is what you've got to do. And I guess it's kind of like highlighting the important role that, women play. And it's like, and they just title her as the admin lady or the scheduling lady. But she holds the company together. So, I don't know, it's quite cool to kind of highlight some of that in a humorous way.
I like it. Alright. I'm gonna move move to the next person. I'm going to move to Kylie, and we're going to come back because we've got a few ideas here, and then let us swirl around and figure out some styles and come back next week with them. And if anything else comes up, Tom, as you're thinking now, put them in the chat so we've all got them, just like, as we go. So, and if anyone else thinks of anything, because I think we almost just opened up another can of worms there with that style. So if anything else comes up, put it in the chat, guys, because that was but I just want to make sure we get through everyone's today. Some mansplaining, girlsplaining. We should do girlsplaining.
Yeah.
All right, Kylie, we're going to jump into you, and then we'll finish off with Rob. Yeah, where you at?
So it's morning, everyone. So I really like the idea of the intern takeover social media from my daughter. So my daughter coming in and saying to me, "Oh, Pups, I know you've got us to 30k, but let's crank this up," type of thing. So we have, with the content that we're putting out at the moment, we've got a real cool like father-daughter vibe that goes. So I think that could be really cool, and adding her into more of the mix. So kind of like an intern dad versus daughter type of thing. And then I had another wider idea around kind of like an office take on the Hawaiianesians, which that's kind of what we're known about. And so there's me, the boss, then there's my wife Donna, and then Tinica, and we're all quite different, but to be able to do like a little bit more of a office take on that. And then I even thought just real basic stuff like Mare, who's my daughter, she'll come up to me and she goes, "Oh, hey Pups, what does this mean in Te Reo Māori, or what does tikanga mean?" And then by being able to do those short little 1-minute videos, that captures both my Māori audience and then my non-Māori audience. Because sometimes we're assuming that it's non-Māori that don't know, but sometimes it's Māori also that doesn't know as well, and so it could fit both of those. At the moment there's some real cool memes out at the moment. The other day when we first started, I was talking about, I don't want to do cheesy, hoary humour, but there are some real cool memes coming out at the moment where we could just do the voiceover, use the original voice, and we're just acting those out. Most of our content at the moment is just pretty much us documenting what happens in our workshops, and those are probably the ones the other ones where people are like, "Fire out, what's this? I need this in my life, how do I enroll?" type of thing. And so just to double down on that for a little bit, because what can happen sometimes is there's a lot of gold that happens within those wānanga, within those workshops that I'm actually not recording. So I just got to be more strategic, and it's not until after it happens I was like, "Oh fuck, I should have recorded that." And then, but also with that being more like going into the wānanga and thinking, okay, so how do we document this properly? And so whether that's me sitting down and doing an interview with someone, or Mare going in and interviewing someone, or little challenges, but just being more mindful that every opportunity we're going into is around creating content. And I like this dude, Snowboard Jesus. And so he's just got which I think I'm going to try. It's like I don't even know what it is, but it's like a cam on a stick, but it's more natural than having your phone out all the time, and you can just push record, and then all he's done is long form content, and he's just chopped it up. And then later on down the track, thinking about a podcast, because of my connections that I have, and so mine as well being cultural identity, and also, corporate Pākehā people, how do they connect to Māori culture, and just being able to really elevate Te Ao Māori. And so it could be anything from a young person to somebody that's been real successful, The only thing around the podcast is because of our location, we'd have to do that like online. So we couldn't have guests physically coming into our space all the time. Yeah, but I thought, again, just to go back, I thought an intern dad versus daughter type of thing. Our office space, because like we're pretty crazy and we get to do some real awesome stuff, but just staging that a little bit better, and then Q&As with me, documenting the process, but I think, and then also just some written posts on LinkedIn as well.
Can I jump in just really quickly just before, because I've got to go, we've got our own little one on 5 minutes. I just want to say two things for Kylie. I love watching the Americans reacting to New Zealand haka. I think it's like so fun, and I think it would be really cool. I mean, I don't know if they'd be keen to do it, but maybe if your daughters would react to the like American dudes reacting to rugby haka, I think it would just be so amazing. I don't think it would be very hard, but it's just like play it to them and record their face and then post it, because yeah, those things are going pretty viral. I love watching the fact that they can just viscerally tell that it's just like a super important thing, even though they don't understand it. I love it so much, and it kind of speaks to the whole purpose of kind of like what you do, like helping people to understand. And then the other thought was, I love motor haka, and I was like, learning it a little bit, but one of the stories that I heard was that the taiaha has 5 eyes if you use it properly. And so I thought, like say if you take someone doing a welcome, and instead of holding a raka, that they're actually using that 360 video thing, so that it has, like, because it's got multiple cameras on it. And so if you imagine it, like, you do the moves, like the 360 video would be out of it, like really, really strange. But I have no idea kind of what it would be, but I can sort of half visualize that it would be amazing. So yeah, like if you think about it, it would be very abstract, and I like this idea that kind of brings in the sort of almost like ephemeral kind of spirituality, but it's using like a really technical trick. I think they used similar kind of camera angles. It could be a GoPro, it could be a 360 video, but just this idea, like they used the style in Breaking Bad often, like it would be put the camera in the bucket and pour water in the bucket, and you get this kind of very different view. But yeah, love the other ideas as well, and I'll watch the video back and try to post as much as I can this week. But yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Roman. Thanks, Roman.
Bye, Roman.
Thank you.
Yeah, ka kite. See you.
Yeah, I love all of these ideas. Kylie, I think like when I look at your stuff, like, and I've watched a bit of it, and I look at like if I hit popular, so what is everyone else watching on yours? If I look at the ranking, it is definitely these moments that you've captured, like that look quite candid. Like that, obviously all your top videos. There's only probably one that isn't, which is the interview. The fella who's pretty crack up. Yeah. Finished the lyrics. That's right. So I think from that perspective, there's not really anything that we have to go, what's the campaign? It's just we have to figure out a structure for how you record stuff all the time. It does take a little bit of just discipline to make it happen, and then every single time we set it up like this thing right now to record all this every Thursday night. It's like, okay, we need 3 cameras in the room, we need to make sure everything's set up, blah blah blah, because we don't know what's going to be good in this for you guys later on, but we're just going to capture all of it anyway, and then for you guys it's just more important just to have it anyways as a resource to go back to. But for you it's just like, how do every single thing you do with clients or customers or these groups, how do you record? Do you have the equipment for it as well? Like, what equipment do you need? You don't need lots of fancy cameras. You just, like, GoPros are enough, like, for this sort of situation. It's just, but you just need to be able to have a system where it's like, okay guys, like part of the setup for today, every single day is just built into the procedures. Cameras go up.
And we've talked about it as staff quite a bit, but we just haven't got to the point. Because you would have seen, you know, we're posting quite a bit, but we know that there's at least double, if not triple, the amount of content and aha moments that are happening. And it normally falls back on me, like I'm teaching and then I'm also pulling up my phone as well. And so, like you said, it's a system. And is it the thing that the Snowboard Jesus, which is that 360 camera, is it someone else that we pay to come in and just so at the end of each wānanga, we get a professional videographer to come in. But what we found, and that's awesome too, but those 2 days leading up, there's a lot of content that we're missing, and so it's not necessarily high produced, edited stuff that we want. It's just capturing on the phone and making sure that someone's always recording.
I think it's like a matter of getting the right additional cameras that are part of the setup.
Yeah, right.
You know, like, so you obviously set up for the day. Like, it's obviously you don't just like turn up and nothing happens. There's obviously a procedure for setting up for the day. So part of that procedure is putting the cameras in place and knowing where they should be. What you probably need more importantly is an editor. Like, you need someone to actually like make the clips from it. That's way more work. One thing we do when we do this sort of style where you're just capturing everything is you have a time stamper, and their goal is just to sit there for the whole day making notes of when good things and cool moments happen, and they mark the time. And then that way when you go to the editing, it's really fast. Because actually, like, sitting there, having something like, sounds like kind of counterintuitive because you've got someone sitting there the whole day listening and they're paying for those wages or whatever. But actually, like, it's 3 or 4 times as long to do that watching the videos. Whereas when you're in the moment, you feel everything because you're part of it as well. And so you know why that moment was big. So you're more likely to make sure you get the cut right. And you would see that too, Carly, because you'll be in it and you're like, fuck, I should have recorded that to do it. And so it's hard for an editor to feel the same thing. So you'd have someone there watching who's maybe their job is to make sure the cameras are set up. And it could be at the professional videographer anyway that they've got everything set up, they're also recording. Might be too expensive to do a professional guy. But those I think for your virality, that's like, I mean, that's the piece. Like, there's other stuff we could talk about here, but I think it's already the reason you've gone viral in the first place. It's the reason you're at 30,000 now. Like, why try to fix it? Just got to find a system to make it better.
Yep, I agree.
I don't mind Roman's one of the reaction.
Yeah.
It's like that. Have you seen the girl, the American girl at the moment, who was, she was like asking about, what was she asking about? Tudonga replied to her and did a video. But anyway, I can't remember, I'll find it later on, but it had been super viral. Like, I think collectively the series that's gone back and forth has had like about 50 million views. Of her, what was it? She was asking about something with the language and how to say something, and she couldn't say it. And then people replied back how to say it, what it meant.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, that was annoying, I can't remember what it is. This blonde chick, and she tried to do it, and it was a cracker. But it was what Roman said, that she was like genuinely interested.
Yeah.
Oh, is she the one who's like, this is for like specifically Polynesian and
especially
Maori?
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I love those. So we've actually sat down and watched those, in particular the Black American fellas reacting to kapa haka. And like Roman said, like as soon as like the haka start, like they can just feel it that it's tribal, and like they'll push stop and they're just like, you know, 1 minute one of them will start crumping or something like that. So I think a reaction to the reaction would be cool.
Yeah.
And you know, I've also seen those, you know, whether it was a young Māori girl who was actually brought up overseas and she's reconnecting to her culture, or someone from overseas who was genuinely interested. So with that, would you just like stitch it? Would you have their question and then me or Mare jumping in and like, oh, I've got you sis, here, this is what.
Yeah, stitch or green screen, or stitch is always good. Use the in-app features, makes it better. I just found the one that Tudonga did, and his was starts off with the girl.
Oh yeah, her, yeah.
And then it goes into his explanation of it. I mean, those videos.
So I like his stuff, and is it that guy Davis?
Yeah, James, is it?
He's got a Moko as well.
Yeah.
I like their little 1 minute, it's just real 101.
I don't know, James.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's cool. Yeah, he's cool as that dude. Both of them are cool. But yeah, a lot of that, like, they're just educating people on Māori culture. And most of their audiences, we've had Tūranga on our podcast at one stage, and he was saying that like most of his audience is American, almost all of them, you know, and they're just super naive to understand what indigenous cultures are, because like from their point of view, like he was saying how they're like, oh, your house looks so normal, like, where are you filming? Is that your house? Or like, that doesn't look like a hut, like, it's like, I don't live in a fucking hut, like I'm in Wellington, like.
Put your grass skirt on.
Yeah, exactly. But they're not being racist, they're just being ignorant and inquisitive because they just don't realise any difference. Yeah, I think that's cool, I like that style. It definitely is, it's definitely popular and you guys reacting to it. I think the reaction piece though, rather than just going, oh wow, that's interesting, look at these guys, is going, like, they'll have questions and how do you answer them? Yeah. That style's one you could say straight away. Your daughters will know how to do that.
Yeah.
They'll know, they would have seen it. Like, it's not a hard one to do either, because it's just, you guys know your shit. It's only hard if you don't know how to respond. Yeah. Well, podcast style, in terms of online podcasts, there's nothing wrong with online podcasts. We use a service called Riverside. I don't know if you've seen it before. Have anyone seen it? There's other ones out there. We just use Riverside. It's called riverside.fm. We've always used it, but what it is essentially is it's a fancy Zoom, but instead of recording in the cloud, it records local on your computer and then uploads that to the server, so that you get a higher quality image and sound. And inside Riverside, the best thing about it is it has a full editing suite inside of it, and it does its own like AI editing. So it'll find clips for you. It'll and then all your short clips are like, it's just a click of a button and it will rearrange the perspective. Like, is it stacked on top? Is it picture in picture? Whatever. It does captions. It does text-based editing too, which is really good. Where you can take the transcription and just like delete words out, like ums and ahs, or you can just delete out sentences if you want to shorten things, rather than trying to go into the visual and find the moments. You just delete the words and it'll delete all the clips for you. Stuff like that. Like, text-based editing is like game changer. Like, if you're not text-based editing and that sort of stuff, you're just wasting time. So like, it has all that in it for you. So that's riverside.fm. It's pretty cheap, so it's like $30 a month to get that service, and then you just send them the link, they jump in. And what else is good about it is you can have a producer of the show on. Like, say you'll do an interview, one of your daughters could be in it producing it to make sure all the levels are right, everything's going right, but she's not in the podcast. Right. She's in the lobby, but she's in behind the scenes. There's no reason why you couldn't do that. The problem, I mean, you've got somewhat okay, because you guys are pretty good already at making content, is that you just need the administration of getting the guests.
Yeah.
And then what is it like? Why is the conversation important? Because what was your idea of your topic?
It was quite new actually, and it was anything to do with anything celebrating Māori culture. And then if I was to break that down, it would be around, a big chunk of our work is around Māori men's health. So I can get different guys on to talk about that, the revitalisation of Māori knowledge, and so, the matariki and maramataka. And then, so we could have guests come on, and then it could also just be us as the Hawaii Kura crew just talking about, what is it that we do and what's inspired us to get into the work that we do. So quite wide, but so social entrepreneurship, body well-being, talking to, so even as a Māori entrepreneur, you know, the struggles that we've been through in terms of how to set up a different business. And then you've got me coming from it from an adult's perspective, and then my daughters also in terms of being Māori youth and Māori leaders, and you know, what does that mean? And so sometimes I could anchor the program, but sometimes it could be them anchoring it.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just wondering, is it a Kylie thing rather than a Hawaii Kula thing?
Right.
Just starts to be so much out of one brand. We lost him. Yeah, I don't know.
Dan, just speaking on that, like you guys mentioned, I think a couple of sessions ago, that like it doesn't have to be specifically set to like one individual campaign.
Yeah.
So like just thinking like, is there not something that like Kylie does for his brand as Kylie?
Yeah.
Because like he could probably then take like slightly different angles on content, and as you guys said, like don't like box it into just one specific campaign and put all your eggs into that one basket.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a Kylie thing. Yeah. I even think I think we might have lost Kylie, he's obviously frozen, but I also think the intern approach with his daughters, they should start their own one as a competing with dad's thing and try to beat him and turn them into their own. Yeah, I think that and then just have multiple approaches, and then I really, if you guys really go and watch Hawaii Kura's stuff, all his best content is this like really deep emotional crap about the cultural stuff. It's nothing to do with the funny ones get some viewership because people know them, but it's the ones where you're like, man, that's fucking cool, or man, that's an awesome moment. You know, the big one has got like 16 million views on or whatever. It's just this kid, you know, picking up the haka for the first time. It's epic. And I think you should double down on that in Hawaii Kura. It's why it's being built in the first place, and it's not there about why. It's exactly what you do. If you've got a style that is exactly what you do, why change it? If it's all really resonating, it makes no sense to change it. The podcast one for Kylie, I think, could work because I think his team's set up enough in that they know content well enough they could probably pull it off, and they probably know enough people it wouldn't be as much administration work for them as it is for others because of the processes they already have in place. I also think that he can make waves on LinkedIn. He could do a lot. And Tommy, you're probably the same using the cultural lens. Just being quite different to what's normally on LinkedIn is there's hardly any people who are brown having their say, especially Tommy in your case. In design, there's no one in that industry anyway. You already know that. So then now you're going to be on LinkedIn showing this thing, and then Kylie's the same. The people. I feel like a lot of the Māori people on LinkedIn are quite whitewashed. They're very playing a corporate role. Oh, here he is. He's back.
I think there could be some really cool values for Kylie as a father.
Yeah.
And kind of that image. And the storytelling and that kind of sharing the heart of a father, and kind of making sure that his girls understand or grow up knowing who they are, where they come from, and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And kind of building on that really wholesome content that they've already got going.
Yeah. Kylie, you missed. We solved everything, so you missed it all. But nah. But we were just saying, a few of us were all saying, I think with you guys, there's a splitting of this campaign into multiple campaigns instead of just one. I really personally believe your Hawaii Kura is what we originally said, which is filming everything, taking these cool moments. That's what people want to see on the channel already. It's already the most viral content you've got. Give them more of it. The podcasts or your story, having a Kylie brand, I think that's something, potentially podcast, and Tom has just said sharing from your angle of being the father you know, almost similar to Jennifer, right? Like passing down these traditions to your daughters and making sure that they know why it is. I mean, they obviously do, but like sharing why it's so important to make sure they understand this in their culture. And then potentially the podcast sits under Kylie, as in it's saying that you could be branded as. And then a really strong LinkedIn campaign with you, like getting into that, sharing. And I think that's where you share your entrepreneurial journey on LinkedIn. I think people really resonate with that, and it's really helpful for finding the enterprise clients that will pay the larger money for the, you know, for the groups there. And then I was saying your comedic intern style comedy stuff with the girls. I was saying that would be really fun. Is just the girls have their own channel trying to beat Dad's channel. You know, they've got their own thing that they're trying to build, and it'll probably end up taking off because everyone will be like, yeah, we've seen these videos, we'll follow you though, because let's get one over the Dad.
Yeah, cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I really love that. Sorry everyone, my internet dropped out, but I just dropped in on Tonga's kōrero too, and so one of the feedback that we often get is our relationship as a father and daughter, and like people like, especially some of our students that come on, like they see quite aspirational in that the type of relationship that they want as well. And so we talk about, you know, that it's taken us a long time to be able to develop our whānau unit, and it's all based on these values, and again going back to what Jennifer talks about around tradition and all that kind of stuff. And so yeah, we're very aware of the power of that type of messaging as well.
Yeah. I think I was saying also when you're off that you've also got a team who could probably, you guys are probably you are further ahead in your content journey, that you could probably handle 3 strategies if you had them mapped out. Like if you had 3 strategies delivered, you could probably execute on them as long as they're easy and simple. So I think like next week we'll come back with some ideas to have like Kylie, the girls, and Hawaii Kura. I mean, Hawaii Kura's done. I don't think it needs changing. It just needs process.
And doubling down on.
Yeah, because it's already awesome. Like the clips that I've got that have gone off are great. Like why change that? Whereas the girls can have their own one. That could be potentially where they're doing the reaction stuff, but also trying to beat Dad. And then yours is that this father story and this entrepreneur story.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then start to
On that one.
send it out. Sorry, Dave.
On the Kylie one, I don't know if it ties into the one of Kylie's original ideas around the children asking questions. Because that, I really like the sounds of that, because there's so many like simple kind of dumb questions that are, you know, adults are scared to ask, but kids can ask. And it could play daughter and dad as well.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
And the other thing too that I liked about those little simple questions was that one, I can video it, but then I can just turn it into written content as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like it.
It would be cool, Kylie, if you become this Pāti father figure, Māori father figure, like on social media, and your followers start calling you or you know, something like, you know.
Yeah.
I think there's some cool opportunity there.
Yeah, so I have a lot of so Papa is what they like. So Matua is uncle, and Papa is another one. And so I've got. It's funny, particularly in the last couple of years, we created this community, both physically and online, where people know me as Papa K. And so that's everything from rangatahi to youth, all the way up to these patch members who like just melt in my, like if I give them a growling, like they're just like, yeah, cool. Okay, pubs. Yeah. Like we joked around, so one of our men's wānanga that we've just finished, we had 3 active patch members from different clubs in the one space, but they were able to go there because of the environment that we created, and we set down we said, okay, so if you come in, don't come in if you think, you know, you can't come in because our brother's wearing another patch or whatever. And just seeing these men and how vulnerable they are stepping into the space, and you would have seen some of the videos come through, like, it's just powerful, it's beautiful. And then we go do the same with the woman, and then we go do the same with the rangatahi, and I think what people really appreciate is that, so it's the same system that we're following, but it can have touch points to so many different people, and then next minute people see me and I'm with a bunch of 10 non-Māori people in their corporate office talking about 101 Māori and why they should be engaging with them.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Okay, well, I think we've got a bit there. We'll start to put some stuff together next week, get a plan. Well, I got lucky last.
I just got one more question for you, Kylie. I listen to a lot of talkback radio, and I know the demographic there. They take a lot of, I guess, a lot of current affairs, a lot of things happening in, especially around Māori, around the Māori Party, and a lot of it translates through media through a negative lens. Now, I try and look around for someone to either interpret that into not direct opposite, but someone to like trying to explain to my old man and his mate, I don't know, the angles of Māori and how it's not. I don't know how the media tends to put a certain spin on a lot of Māori things these days. Only certain media, especially ZB, I feel like calling on myself sometimes. But I find it difficult, because I'm non-Māori, I find it difficult to explain the Māori side, or not even the Māori side, actually the fair side, whereas you get one side saying something and then you get both extremes, and the other extreme saying nah, Māori this, Māori that, and on the other extreme. But I very rarely find anyone in the middle ground, or anyone who can kind of explain to each of those parties where each one is coming from, rather than keep it separate, a bit more unifying. And I've watched a little bit of your content, and I know you do a little bit of work around that. Do you do any content like based on, like, let's say something comes up in the media, why not what was the recent one? Māori Parliament comes up. Straight away, Mike Hosking jumps on it and he's like, oh, if you're going to do a Māori Parliament, are you going to pay for it? Are you going to do this? Yeah, you do whatever you want, but don't expect us to jump on board. You know, taking clips like that like seem relevant to a lot of people, but then not fighting it and saying, oh, fuck, why not, blah, 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 but just, I don't know,
Having a reasoned argument.
Having a reasonable argument, bro. Just something that people are so back and forth. But I try to look on Spotify or YouTube for something to explain to me a bit more of Te Tiriti and what was that protest that was going on. And you weren't here that week. I wanted to talk to you about it. But I feel like there's not too many people. I've had a little look on social media who can come with a good response, a fair response, not crazy emotionally invested, but just something fair, and then that makes sense.
Unbiased, yeah.
Unbiased opinion with a semi-bias towards Māori, which fair enough, this is Aotearoa. Do you do any kind of content like that, or that could be like something to
podcast?
Yeah, either podcast or take the clip, like say, like for Mike Hosking example, take the clip, boom, and then do a bit of explaining around it, why he's got it a bit wrong, why he's coming at that angle, and and I think you might be the guy for it, Kai.
Yeah, thanks for that, bro. It's definitely a space that we've thought about jumping in. It was and so taking like current affairs, what's current at the moment, and like you said, giving our perspective on that. It just gets back down to our system at the moment, and that we're a lot of our stuff we're just documenting, and so that would require me to sit down and plan and think, okay, so how would I answer this? But yeah, it's definitely, I think, is it Rev? They're kind of like a little media outlet. They kind of are the only ones that I see out there giving like a counterbalance type of conversation. Oh, well, did you know that this is why this is, and so I definitely like the idea. and it's a space that we would want to step into. We're not there at the moment, but with some planning, I think we could get there.
Yeah, it's a hard one because of like, if you then have the misstep, if it's not planned properly, then you just become no better than the thing doing it. And one of the reasons why you don't find the balanced argument is because they don't perform. That's the reason the media's gotten so extreme, is because the extreme opinion works both sides. And so it's not that, well, we're not going to do it because it doesn't get the views. Like, that's not always a good argument to not do something, but you will get the views when you get it wrong. And then when you get it wrong, now you've got to defend it. So I agree with Carly. If you're going to do it, it's like you need a system. You need to be like, have we fact checked? Are we unsure? Are we sure we're right here? Because otherwise, unless you're ready to open yourself up to the criticism, but like that would definitely be a Kylie thing, because you don't want your daughters involved in that. You don't want them having to deal with those hate comments of that. You know, they're still young and impressionable, so it's like a real hard thing, because you're gonna get it. Inevitably, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get all the fucking Mike Hosking listeners just absolutely ripping you into it.
Nah, yeah, that was me. Cheers, bro.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Cool. All right, Rod.
Okay, guys. Just got a few ideas from everyone, which is cool. A few ideas on my own. A couple of the main ones that stood out was we got Desh. Sorry, guys, Desh was late. He took my younger son to preschool this morning. Thank you, Desh. No worries, Desh. So the father versus son playing at the gym. Desh has had a few kickboxing fights now, and he does a bit of mixed martial arts training, so he's very competent. So he gives me a bit of trouble at the gym. So we're thinking of playing on that, the father versus son, like either from Desh's perspective, similar to how Joni and Stan run it. Either Desh comes up with small challenges for us to perform, or he sneakily tries to get the one up on me throughout either training or pre-training or after training with anything. Could be, watch this guys, I'm going to land a head kick on my dad in sparring today, and then have one of the boys film it, and then, you know, do something, and then try to land a head kick on me, and then getting it, and the boys celebrating. Just like that's like a small example.
Yeah.
But like, it wouldn't be just training based. It might be like,
they just like, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
It might be like other things throughout the gym, you know. So that's I think a bit more from Desh's perspective, and I think that'll be.
I think it's cool. I like it.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also, my wife Shashila, she does a bit of acting and does a bit of social media stuff. The issue that we have with her is, like any, I guess like any partner, she doesn't like listening to me. Like, even if I have really good advice, she doesn't want to hear it. So I've trained her multiple times at multiple different gyms, and it's always started strong and then withered out. So thinking of like, we could play on that, like trying to get her into the gym. She'll come in, trying to get her doing something. And the main issue we have is like, if I'm taking a class, she'll disrupt the class by just being negative, just because she's my wife and she feels she can. Oh, why are we doing this? Like, do you even know what you're doing? Like, in front of like this is not even a joke. She'll just do this with actual clients, and I'm like, oh, sorry guys, babe, you can't really do this. And so I had to stop her from coming to the gym at one point. But that, man, if someone was filming that, that's hilarious. But like setting up scenarios like that or anything, and you know, playing off that, and
that's dangerous territory, trying to make your wife look like a fool on camera, bro.
She doesn't territory, bro. But you do it in a comedic way, right? Like, so it'll be planned. These are more skit type things.
Yeah.
And it could be at home as well. It could be at the gym. It could be anywhere. But it would be like gym humor and relatable type stuff. A couple of the other ones I was thinking of the old Clash of the Codes, how they used to go league versus rugby. But in our gym, we got a really good yoga instructor, a female yoga instructor. We got some really good strong lifters, both male and females, who chuck weights around. We recently got our boxing coach, Mike, just won a title, so he's a champion now. Oh, cool. So we're a boxing champion. We got we've got a couple of kickboxers. We've got a Russian mobility instructor, Vanya.
Yeah.
He's got a long beard, he's got long hair, thick Russian accent, and he can move like a Cirque du Soleil.
He's the fire guy.
Oh
He used to
yeah.
work here.
Oh,
He used to work in this gym.
crazy.
I do.
Joni used to date him.
Yeah.
So,
So did I.
there's three of us. So like, so we got, because we've got such a diverse range of people and
It sounds like a
skills
sitcom. It really does sound like
Yeah.
a sitcom.
and personalities. I was thinking some kind of, I don't know. There's something there. You could
There
do
is
something
there.
with it.
There is something there.
It could either be. I was chatting with Daisha. It could either be one of them, like put them against each other in one of their expertise, and the other one obviously has no idea about it. So the female yoga instructor could take the boxing champion for a hard yoga session, and you film the content around it, before it, the yarns through it, something that's ridiculous for him, and then maybe flip it, put her in the ring with him for something funny, something like that.
Yeah, I think the same there.
But yeah, just thinking of different
Also from a
challenges.
commercial perspective, Knox Fit. No, what's it called? What's the main gym called? Fort
Fort
Knox.
Knox, yeah.
So just so everyone knows, like Rod's gym is like a bunch of gyms in one gym. So it's called Fort Knox, and there's a bunch of trainers that all have it together. But what could be quite commercial for your reason is that if you guys create like a Fort Knox channel, kind of, that has all this interplay, you're generating revenue now for other people. So you could have a way of like, how does this? Is there a way to track that revenue for their bookings to then pay for the more production?
Yeah,
So then your marketing starts to get paid for by the referral fee. So you're not necessarily pocketing it yourself, but you're doing it to build it up and go further. So it could be a commercial reason where the other guys pay you kickbacks for it,
sure.
to pay for the marketing. Yeah, sorry, Karen.
So we got the father and son, we got the coach versus wife, we got something with all the different expertise in the gym, and there's so many different people in there. And also I see I like instructional videos, but a lot of people do them, but I don't see a lot of beginner instructionals, like real basics. Like people who like instructional videos, they're either already fighting or they're already in a fight gym. But if you do like beginner instructionals, real basic stuff, and you might be able to relate it to a real situation. I don't know, I was thinking either Daesh, I got Daesh, Lima and Pest, the three young fellas that have been at the gym for the last 5 years, and they come up and they take the teens class now. And I feel that those three could really do some good content together, and one of them could be beginner or youth instructionals or young people instructionals around real situations or just real basic things, rather than watch a UFC fight and someone takes that and this is how they did that. It's like, wow, like okay, fight fans like that, and people who are already fighters kind of like that. But what about everybody else?
Yeah.
I got a whole lot here, but those are the ones that kind of stood out.
I like them. I really like the you versus Daesh thing more than just like, Jody Stan, Carly and his daughters, like, well, it's actually kind of like Carly and his daughters actually, but the father and son dynamic isn't shown often because it's not a normal relationship, or that syncs really well at that, like, your age. Like, I don't know about all the other men, but when you're like 18 to 25, like, it's the stage of where you're trying to take your dad's spot kind of thing, right? Like, it's like it's that moment in your adulthood where you're trying to get out of being the son and trying to be your own man. It's like, it's a real interesting dynamic. Like, you guys are probably going through that yourselves, right? Like, it's like this thing where Daisha's becoming a man, no longer the son. It was like the other day you told me you watched the guy kickboxing, he's 19, you're like, fuck, my son's older than that. Like, it's like you were starting to realize that, like, shit, your son. I remember with my dad, like, as dad was our coach when I was 17 or 18 maybe at the time, and he was telling to the older guys that, like, fuck, I can't tell Stan off anymore because he's twice my size. Like, I gotta be careful when I tell him off. But I was still shit scared of dad for a long time because he's still dad, and he's a fucking big island man, and he'd still smack me around the head if I said the wrong thing. Well, I thought he would, but then he was saying to everyone else, like, he's scared of me because like, at that time we were doing boxing and like, you know, like this twice his size now, and my dad's like quite short. But like, so there's this tension where then I grew up to start to realize that like, oh, he is this little guy, like I'm not scared of him anymore, like I'm not, is that, you know what I mean? There's like this growth going on.
Different dynamic, yeah.
You know, like, and so like you don't often see that dynamic between father and son on socials, like it's just not a thing that you see a lot of. But if you could do it really well, where the arc is, it starts off as like quite childish, as in like pranks, it evolves to like, it will never be do this anyway, where Dacia's trying to have his claim, his stake in the thing that he wins, and then it resolves with partners. You know, like that sort of arc is an awesome storytelling. We kind of similar been doing it with Joni and I. We just like haven't quite found the partner piece yet because we haven't quite got it right, which is probably New York where it starts to happen. But it's the same arc. It's like it starts off as a little brat, turns into like getting the upper hand, and then works into like, oh, actually you guys are the partners in this, which is quite a cool story arc for people to see, especially father and son, because it's not, you know, I can't think of any father-son combos like that apart from like where they're already older. You know, where there's like the 30-year-old son with the 60-year-old dad, they're already best mates. You know, I don't know, has anyone seen any, like I haven't seen that dynamic done well, maybe on movies, but not on social.
No, I haven't seen it, but I love it.
Yeah.
I love that idea, and in particular, again from, you know, an indigenous perspective, you know, and you know, there's like you can come from, you know, the father-son type of dynamic, but then that could also move into a more serious podcast in terms of, you know, well, son, this is the stuff that I went through, and well, dad, this is the stuff that I'm going through, and I think it can open up a whole different conversation around, you know, well-being, mental health issues that men face.
Yeah.
There's a real cool opportunity to start off like dancing or competing with each other and trying to one-up each other. And then as you kind of build that story, you can then touch on some of the serious stuff like correcting to keep them safe. You know, because safety seems to be a big purpose with the gym and that whole fighting thing. And so, yeah, there's a huge spectrum of storytelling with those characters.
Agreed. Totally agree, Tom.
Is there a, you know, like those shitty like cop show or like police show or repair shop, or those ones where they go, and this week Dave's got a particular problem with X and Can we not do that in the gym with like all the characters?
Yeah.
And do it like one of those shows where it's like, oh, and this week Brian has got this problem with it, like, and oh look, Rob's wife's in today, and this is always really good. Do you know what I mean? Like those things where it sets it up with a little thing, and then they have to complete the challenge.
Yeah.
And there's loads of those shows, like the cop one where they go on, they drive around picking up criminals. There's the repair shop. They're all of them. The airport one, they're all the same. But it's always that whole thing, like, oh look, what's happening this week in this with this situation. Can we not do that, like for all the characters in the gym?
Fort Knox.
Yeah, like you do it like that, and it's like, oh look, the Russian guy's going to do some weightlifting today. Let's watch that. That's really interesting. You just set it like that, and then you just make up all the little challenges that these characters have to go through, and then you come back to them all the time. But it's just a reality show that you break up.
Reality show, I like that
ongoing
marks,
Yeah, just for all, you know, because you've got all these really interesting combos. Like your wife can come in one day, like the Russian guy does his yoga class, or the yoga person's trying to learn boxing, or like, and you just mix it all up and just create them. I mean, you only do a couple of weeks, but people get familiar with the characters and the, you know, and they have a set thing that they do. But that'd be a really nice way to do that Fort Knox thing.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Because people love that shit. They sit and watch it all fucking day.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what time.
On short form video, I watch a lot. Like, I don't know about you guys, but fuck, as soon as I watch one or two of those fucking police TikToks,
Yeah.
I get a million of them.
Yeah.
Where they're like, it's a police 10-7 essentially.
Exactly,
like,
that's what it is.
American version of it. And it's like, today this person's fucking got, you know, this person's got a hidden gun and blah blah blah.
You just watch it. It's literally all it is on TV. It's just that, but it's all put together in half an hour.
Yeah.
Which is the same.
Yeah.
And people fucking love that shit.
The other good thing with that, like those concepts, is they can be really long. They can be like 4 to 7 minute videos, and they work on short form. Like they
Parts
just be like
as
they
well.
play out. Yeah. It doesn't actually have to be like well edited either.
No,
It can
it's
just
not.
be
Yeah.
the whole dialogue piece. Yeah. The one thing I'd say concern around doing that level, because I think the son versus dad could be like the hybrid channel. This other one, this combination doesn't really make sense to be hybrid channel because there's more Fort Knox. Because it's like a wider gym thing, everyone's getting involved. One concern you're gonna have to have is like, wow, they probably already got channels, can it be Fort Knox? So there's like some logistics issues that you probably have to talk to, what's the bro's name again? Kerry. Talk to Kerry about. Maybe it's like you just call it some other channel anyway, and it just has links to it, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But you just say to them, hey, I'm gonna do this thing anyway, interacting with people. But then I think there's this educational piece that you've got. I think that should be you, not the gym. I think that should be like the expertise comes from you, even though like in your mind there's a bit of like, wow, I can get the expert here and I can get this expert and I can have all these other different disciplines. But actually, like Joe Rogan is a good example where he gets on all these experts, but he now becomes the center of it all. So he gets transferred all the expertise because he's the guy. So your personal brand could be this thing where it's all the educational places that all your beginner trainings and all that sort of stuff. Make it a real YouTube-y style channel. I mean, if you could do it on YouTube, at least it's going to give you an income stream later on as well. Maybe potentially paying for it long term, but like instructional videos are way better on YouTube, just way better. They work better because people go like, it's all SEO. It's like, how do you do an armbar? I remember that's fucking where we YouTube jiu-jitsu, bro, when we first started. That's how we found out how to do
Flying armbars.
flying armbars. We like watched YouTube clips back in the day. But because it's search, like YouTube's the second largest search engine in the world. If you do instructional video about particular things, then it's good. And you've got a good, like your story, you can build a good brand about your story. Because you've been there, like you've been at the top of it with everyone else. And you've been in the world for so long, so you've got this cool backstory that you're a reason to listen to.
And as people, you can talk to people, like you can bring other people in to talk about it.
Get them to show the expertise. You've got mates you can bring them to show different things. Other people in the gym. So it's kind of like almost 3 channels. And obviously, so for everyone else, like Daisha's also doing a bit of an internship with us here at the Attention, and part of that internship is to help him learn some content production so he can help his dad with some of the stuff as well. So you've probably got you kind of have the resources. She already knows how to make content too, so if you need help, she's already good at it. So I reckon you could probably run 3 strategies, but maybe starting with 2 being your one and the gym one. And then, the hybrid one, the comedic one. And then this character show that is the Fort Knox. That's a bit, because that's coordination, you've got to get the other guys involved, you've got to get them out.
You got to write the jokes.
And they're only going to get involved once you've nailed yours. Because then you're like, oh fuck, that's awesome, yeah, I want that too. Because they're still business owners. Getting them in and they're like, mate, I charge people this much for my time and I'm going to come in a fucking TikTok. And they're not going to say that out loud because they're not wankers, but like, it's just how people think their time's expensive.
There was that way that you do like a shared thing on social media as well.
Like collaboration.
That's it.
But first I reckon we go, here's the son versus dad, father versus son dynamic. And like I think we've all agreed on that response. It's like pranks, banter, comedic, evolving into serious conversations with the son, like, and the coming of age as a man story, right? Like we become peers as opposed to father and son. We become peers. Like that's a cool story to watch, to play out. And then yours is more instructional. Here's the beginner stuff. I'm the expert. We could put a LinkedIn campaign together because I think there's lots of opportunity for you on LinkedIn. Like lots of professionals live in this neighborhood that could come and work out with you. And then we look at like long term, what's the Fort Knox play? What's his character play? Anyone else have any ideas on that? Any thoughts or feelings? Rod, I mean, it's your campaign, just imposing it. No, it's pretty much yours anyway, right?
Yep.
Anything we're missing that you really want to get across?
Just on the father-son thing, they're not actually found on the Clarkson's farm. I haven't watched it. I've seen highlights.
Oh,
Jerry Farm, there's like a younger guy, and it's that kind of dynamic. I just see one classic clip where dad kind of makes the son the manager, and he just instantly goes, "Okay, well, you're fired."
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, that's the dream now, right? Own the business, but get your son to run it for you and take all the money. Yeah, I like it. I like it. It's cool. It's fun. Any concerns? Anything you worry about?
Nah. I'll probably have to think about it a bit more this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounds good.
I think you can still bring she into it too, inside of Father something. Like,
for sure.
Daesh could use she to like get one up, you know? Like, you guys could conspire to get Rob, you know?
Yeah.
You know? Like, there's some funny elements we can bring her in.
Oh yeah.
Shit. And you definitely want to, because it's funny. Like, she will be funny as in this situation. Like, that her character that you play out will be quite a good character. Yeah. And then also, you guys should think about who are the other guys that you train. Like, what's the other young fellas you were mates in? The young guy that you train?
Lima and
Yeah, Lima. Yeah, like having, like, you know the other regulars that are there?
Yeah.
Like getting in, what are their characters?
Yeah.
And I think something we've got to think about is like who the person is. Like with Jody and I, when we think of Shrek and Donkey, like which movie set are we playing on? Like the other one we do with the team is Brooklyn Nine-Nine, because when we bring in the rest of the team, we need them to have characters that they can latch onto and who they think of. And so, you know, you can go to Lima, oh hey, you're Peralta. So then he knows, okay, I know the character that I play in the videos. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got a bit of content ideas around that, like just the different individuals that are regulars at the gym, either doing little pieces on them, not like interviewish or answer questions, or catch them warming up, bit of banter, catch them do a little bit of training, catch them a little bit of post-training, through a few different individuals in the gym.
Yeah.
And then you get enough people, like say you get 10 people, so one of them's going to be relatable to someone. So.
Oh, for sure. So the same with our team, but some of the characters resonate quite well. People like Carter resonates really well with the audiences. Mia did when she was here. And so they have, like, if you get the right characters, they resonate with different people. Connor, everyone does, yeah. There's also something I've seen a lot of, like, you know, in the fighting world or like martial arts world, like, it's quite, yeah, what's the Kokan fella's name?
Sure.
The big dude in the E-Train, the Kokan fella, the guy with the tattoos, the kickboxer.
Oh.
Big musty dude.
Oh, Ed. Yeah.
Ed. So, he's massive, like he's ripped to shreds. Big dude, island fella, and like when he kicks, like it looks like he's gonna fucking kick the building down, right? But like that versus, say, like, what's the young, the skinny girl who comes in and trains on her own?
Maddie,
is it? Yeah, she trains on her own. She's quite skinny, and she was there yesterday when I was doing my workout, and she put the bench out.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's tiny figure.
Yeah.
She's absolutely tiny, stick figure. But like real, like she works out all the time. Like, but she, compared to this guy, she's like still a white, skinny girl, and this like big island dude. He's like ripped to shreds. Her trying to hold his kicks, and then the other way around, and the opposite. Like, what's the difference? Like, but they're so clickbaity. Like, so clickbaity. Like, I watched one of a girl who did it the other day. This is why it came in my head. It's like, my kickboxing boyfriend trying to teach me how to kick. And he's just like, it first shows a clip of him with this other dude, him just go, you know how you guys do this, he goes hard, like kicking. It looks like he was going to break the other dude in half. And then she's like, and then it cuts to her holding his head. And she's like, so he doesn't obviously kick as hard as he can, but like, as a video, you're like, oh fuck, he's about to destroy this woman. But he obviously doesn't. And she's got pads and stuff, so it's kind of safe. But it's just like, when you watch it, you're like, there's no fucking way this is going to happen. This is absolutely crazy.
Yeah. It's when you watch someone's normal. So someone's normal is like professional at whatever, and then you bring in someone who is starkly different into that normal, and then it's...
Yeah. But with the guys that you train, like she could probably not maybe his hardest kick, but she could defend a half kick, right? Because she knows how to do it. She's not. She actually does train. She's not. She's not a novice. She just next to him looks like, like it's
small.
Such a dynamic. All right. Okay. So
it's productive.
Yeah, that was good. So I think, as I said at the start, we this last few weeks has probably taught us that this section of this cohort probably needs to be done in smaller groups just for speed. So not sorry, but this is where we should have been. So we all knew we were sort of building the ship as we did this. But we're not off track. It just means that probably what we need to do, which I don't want to do this in future cohorts, is that we're going to have to do a lot more work this week to get prepared, ready next week, that we've all got our final things for you to share. So we'll share it with you before the session. So we've got some ideas and whatever. And then all of next session is logistics, like how are we going to do this? And we're going to work through this. So I'm probably just going to have to do some of this myself as well over the weekend and then get the team onto it next week. Try and get it to you a bit earlier, that you've all got some ideas of where we're going, what's the concept, what's the initial first campaign. For everyone, I don't want to overcomplicate this. I don't want everyone going, but I should do this and I should do that and I've got all these ideas. It's just you do all your other stuff if you want to, but what we want to do to start with, and this is one campaign that has an objective of growth to begin with, and relevancy, and then we can build off that in the future. If you want to do anything else, fine, let's go for it. But our goal is to get the first thing to keep focused, because we know how hard it is to try to do all this stuff. So we're going to try to design one campaign that is the simplest for you guys, given all your constraints and limitations, and making sure we can execute that over the following 4 weeks. So next week's session is all about logistics and what do we need, how do we do this, are we comfortable with it all, and we'll have a bit of an open discussion to make sure everyone's on the same page. And you will be set homework to go and create and the initial stuff. You don't have to post anything. You can if you want, if you're brave enough. And like I said, Carly probably will. He'll probably throw this up. He's just going to go for it, I reckon. But the rest of us, if you're nervous and concerned and you want some feedback, that's what the last 4 weeks are. Is us creating content, putting it into the group. We'll just watch it. We'll watch it all together, and we'll critique, right? And we'll go through and we'll give feedback. Those of you who are getting critiqued, just be mindful that when you ask people to critique your work, it's inevitably negative. Inherently negative is probably the word I need to look. So take all of our feedback with a grain of salt and realize that we're giving it to you to improve it, not to tell you it's shit. Because it does take a bit of work, because it's oh fuck, I just spent 12 hours making this video and everyone just ripped me to pieces on it. But that's okay, you want it, and that's the whole point of this cohort, right? Is that we get to the end of the 4 weeks, the end of the 12 weeks, and we've actually got a system to make content on a campaign that's relevant, and that we can do it consistently from then on. Right, that's the goal. And then there'll be different people at different times starting to post, so you're always able to go ahead and post whatever you feel is right. Don't wait for an okay from us. You do it. We're the sort of team that's just post and figure it out. Post, see what happens, learn from it and go. But not everyone's the same as us. So not everyone's as fucking crazy as I am and putting whatever you want on the profile. But I do want us to make sure that you are doing the work, bringing it to this group and getting the critique, and not just sitting on that information. Actually using it to improve. Cool. Any questions about that? How we're going to finish off this we've got 5 weeks essentially left, roughly, of this process. Any questions about that? Any concerns? Anything that you're bro, we haven't talked about this thing, we haven't done this thing, or is there anything we're missing?
Can you put a list out, bro, in the group chat of a few things that we might need? We already touched on it last week with microphones and
equipment and stuff.
It's real basic.
Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, I can put some links to equipment we think's relevant, for mics and everything that we think's good. They're both affordable but good. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I can do that. That's a good idea. Yeah, I'll put some stuff in there.
I'm interested in channel strategy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what goes where,
and
whether they're completely different campaigns or not.
Yeah, that'll be all the logistics stuff next week. Sorry, Erin, didn't use the right language before. But part of the logistic stuff is the channel stuff. So where is it going? How often? When?
Yep.
You know, all of that stuff next
Why?
week. Yeah, why?
Why and that
So
stuff,
yeah,
yeah.
sorry. That was just me using the wrong language. But yeah, we will definitely do that next week. Next week, ideally by the end of next week, or at least, yeah, by the end of next week, you've got either the plan to go forward with what it is. Now we're just going to get into the creation piece, or you've got all the things you need to finalize your own plan. Right? We're going to give you our suggestions and what we think, but you might tweak and change it yourself. At the end of the day, it's your process, your socials. But yeah, that's the goal for next week. And like I said, I think we're a week behind in where we should be here. We should have had campaign finished last week, which is just us tweaking this, done in groups. But I also think it was quite nice to do this as a big group, hearing all the different stuff. I think it was still quite good. It's just logistically, it's not something we can. I don't think it's right because it just keeps dragging the process out.
And the small group stuff is good. It's just not. Yeah, it's good to have the video of both groups so that
yes,
one group can go and watch the other group. Because I really enjoyed when we did split off. I could kind of go back and watch like what you did with Tonga and Kylie and Roman kind of thing, and just get things out of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, putting all the filmings together. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Otherwise, I've got nothing else.
Yeah.
That's our process.
Yep.
Yeah, we got a bit of work to do more than probably
Yeah.
we definitely going to do this in the next cohort.
No.
With more people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will do. I mean, we said that to you guys. It's building shit, but also you're going to get a bit more work out of us than what we would offer anyone else in the future. So it's probably good for you guys. But we'll go away and start to pull together the campaign strategies and then share it next week, and then let's go from there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome, guys.
Thanks. Thursday,
Yeah, Thursday next week. Yeah, that's right. We've got one day less to get this all done too.
Great.
No pressure.
No pressure. And amongst everything else with me leaving to New York. Woo, I love pain.
Woo!
Well, I know what I'm doing this weekend. All right, team. See you later.
Bye.